Hello there, and thanks once again for joining us on your number one TV show, Game Plan. I'm Charles Mabika, and before I go any further, how many are counting? Yes, how many are counting out there? I'm talking about how many more days are left before we kick off the AFCON tournament in Morocco. How many days? Raise your hands up there. 1, 2, 3. Only three. What's happening? Well, I can tell you that it's now 164 days left before the first match at AFCON 2025. And that first match features the hosts, Morocco, taking on Comoros. And of course, your number one team, our number one team, will be coming up just later after that, a day or two after that. Right, what are we talking about this week on the show? Well, on the show, we will be looking back at the first half of our top flight scene. That's Zimbabwe Premier Soccer League. That's what we'll be looking back at, the first half, because we've just gone now into the second half. Remember, one match last week into the second half, and this weekend it will be 2 matches into the second half. So we've got a special guest from the Premier Soccer League to tell us more about that. I'm talking about the head of the secretariat of the PSL. Is the acting Chief Executive Officer. Let's say hello to Rodwell Thabe. Yes, Rodwell, thanks once again for coming to Game Plan.
Thank you, Charles, and good evening to our viewers. It's always a pleasure to be in the presence of a legend like you.
Oh, thank you.
And I feel at home already, and I'm glad to be back.
Okay, right. Don't feel at home yet. Don't feel at home yet. But anyway, before we start cracking about the first half of the PSL season, some bit of disappointing news. I'm sure some of you will know already that our 2 under-20 squads, that's the under-20 girls team and the under-20 men's team at the COSAFA Youth Championship being held in Namibia, both crashed. We're out of that tournament because we finished last, right? So the Zimbabwe girls, the Zimbabwe boys are out, and we will talk no further. But maybe we can get some solace from the fact that the girls were the highest scorers in Group A. Yesterday, we crashed Malawi by 6-3. Still, that didn't set us through to the semi-finals, but at least we get solace from that. And Rodwell, very disappointing, because we were expecting these young girls and boys to go further.
Yes, true, Charles. You know, as a nation, we always aim to excel high. I think the boys and girls did their best, but we need to prepare so that for the next coming editions, you know, we can get a little bit higher up the ladder. And I'm sure that with the development policies that we're looking at, we should be able to do better in the next tournaments.
Yeah, it's all about planning, isn't it? It's all about planning and looking ahead and preparing and see where you're getting it wrong early before you thrust forward in any tournament. Because like they say, football has no corners.
True, Charles,
Yeah.
true.
Right, okay. That's the scenario. Then we are out of the COSAFA Youth Championship. But anyway, well done, boys and girls, for raising the Zimbabwe flag up high. I know that it wasn't entirely your fault, but we will leave it at that. We will look forward to the next edition of the COSAFA Youth Championship. Right, let's talk about our top flight football. And of course, we will start by looking at the log standing, the current log standing. And of course, the Panthers, Modzana, still reign supreme. They are at the top there. I mean, listen, people still shocked from day one when they beat Highlanders at Baobab Stadium. And the last time out, not the last time out, 2 weeks ago, They did the same. They went to Emagumeni and shocked Highlanders again by the same scoreline. So you see Moors there. And Simbabora, yes, chasing them. And we've now got Madamburo. Isn't Madamburo there? And of course, Tel One, the Wi-Fi boys coming up close as that the top half as we look at it. Herentals, the students flying up high in 6th position. And Highlanders and Caps United in 9th and 10th. Now, Rodwell, as we look at the log standings there, I will, like many people, you were shocked. You are still being shocked by Moors. Besides, I know Moors will have shocked you as well. Which other teams we have shocked you to be where they, especially, let's talk about the top half.
Yeah, as you're saying, Charles, Moors have gone under the radar doing their business quite quietly, but they've done well up to this stage. And from a spectator point of view, our log looks a bit unfamiliar because at this time of the season, the log tends to shape itself up with the big guns coming to hit back in the second half of the season. But look at it now, top 5, Charles. We have 2 teams that are new to the Premier Soccer League doing very, very well for themselves. And I must applaud both teams, Scotland and Moors. They've really given the big boys a run for their money. And they've made this league exciting. Some familiar faces in the top 5, Simbabora, Ngezi Platinum Stars, Tel One. Probably we are used to it being somewhere at the mid-table, but I think Herbert Marua and these men have done very, very well. So the top half of the table looks very unfamiliar, but for football, this is what makes it exciting, and we are very happy. That's
right. The students were the best team out of the capital last season, and it looks like they want to do that again this season. They're looking good.
Very consistent team they are. Very difficult to break or crack, and it's no surprise that they are in the top half of the table, and this will actually help them when we then go on to the Chibuku Super Cup, because remember the top 8 teams in the Chibuku Super Cup are seeded for the first round. Kudos to the top 8 teams. They've done well for themselves, and I think deservedly so. All those teams have made their mark and they deserve that position.
Yes, we will be talking about the Chibuku Super Cup as we go through the program. Yes, it's that Premier Knockout Tournament. We'll find out more from Rodwell Thabe here. And let's just quickly look at the bottom half, a very unfamiliar bottom half. You know what I'm talking about. And I'm talking about number 17. I mean, the last time that you would look at this was back in 2005. Oh, yes. And it's 20 years, 2 decades later, that scenario is there. And Rodwell, a lot of people, especially the Dynamo supporters, just can't believe it. What the heck is happening?
Yeah, rightly as you say, Charles, what the heck is happening? Quite a shocker to have one of the biggest giants in football, Dynamos FC, at number 17 on the log table. But like I said, all teams need to fight. When it comes to the Premier Soccer League, we view them as equal, but we must not fool ourselves. The Giants need to pick up the pace, and Dynamos is one of them. But I tell you, Charles, I've been around for quite some time, and Dynamos being Dynamos, they have the capacity to come back, and we hope they do come back. I see Caps United also in the bottom half of the table. They seem to be getting things right now, picking some results. The grind is coming up. The fans are coming back. So like you say, Charles, a shocker in terms of how the bottom half looks like. But I'm confident that there's still a long way to go. The fight is still on for all clubs. And, we must not take it for granted. Things must happen now in terms of performances, because at the end of the day, it's dog eat dog.
Yeah. The Caps United supporters, their slogan now, their phrase, Hanzi, Zichachekwa Baba. This is what the Caps United fans, all of them are saying, because Caps United now slowly rising. They are now number 10, aren't they? Yes, number 10. So, just a confirmation there. Let's wait and find out. This weekend, they take on the Sugar Boys, Triangle United, and that's the game that we'll be bringing to you live in the comfort of your own homes. That one is happening on Sunday at Rufaro Stadium. 24 hours earlier, we will have been in Mbiles again at Rufaro Stadium, where we will bring you again live the match featuring high-flying the students, rentals taking on high-flying Simba Bora, that's Chinu Chedu. Yes, those are the two games we will be bringing to you live. On Saturday, once again, Rentals take on Simba Bora. Sunday, Caps United take on Triangle United. And you can join me and the rest of the team on Saturday and Sunday as we bring you that one. And yes, those are the games. Well, there is another very exciting one, I think, at Baobab in Mondoro, where Gezi Platinum are back to winning ways and they take on Scotland. And Rodwell, I just want to talk about what the head coach of Scotland, Tony Ndiraya Stanza, my very good friend, was saying on the social media there. He was saying, I don't understand why every time we are playing another team, people are coming to support the other team. What, Takata Zichi, what did we do wrong? And, you know, that's a chuckling moment. But, well, time's not rolling well for Scotland recently.
Yes, but, you know, I also heard the coach saying we are a small team. I don't really want to agree with him. Scotland has come in hard. They are a big team. They are swimming with the big boys. Results haven't been coming of late, but I'm sure that still they are going to put up a good fight till the end of the season. And listen, much of the excitement that we've generated this season, Charles, I must admit, has been due to the new boys. The old boys have been doing their homework, but the new boys, that is Scotland and Moors, have brought that flair. They've brought that excitement to the fans, and they are very, very big addition to our catalogue of stars that we have, and we are grateful.
Yeah, that's right. And talking of excitement, the Dynamo supporters are very excited about the possible return of Gungwa or Ngoda. That's Ocean Mushure, whom, yes, has seems to come back. He will be there. And we've also heard that Denfa Mukamba, Mundi Kumbuke, also back there. William Manondo, yes, might be there. There at Dimbare. Wisdom Mutasa might be. So maybe if you're a Dynamo's fan, maybe the good times will come rolling back. Like I said, you have to go back to 2005 when it was like that. Well, there have been cases like that where the old guns have come back to prop up teams. If you remember back, Shooting Stars and Sporting Lions. Remember? Yes, the Sporting Lions are the team that was owned by Chimurenga music guru Thomas Mukanya Mafumo. Also had old guns, and they came back and they managed to save those teams. So we will see what happens in the Premiership. But so let's get down to business again. Like Sunday fixtures, I did tell you that we will be the special one to note there is that one. Well, all of them are special, but we will be bringing you that one live from Rufaro Stadium. And Rodwell, there are some interesting fixtures there.
Yes, Charles, that quite some interesting fixtures. And, you know, we always have a focus at the top. But I must say that I did pick out one at the bottom where I think Pikita Minerals is looking to lock horns with Kwekwe United. That's going to be one big fight, Charles. So it's exciting both at the top and at the bottom. Yep.
Right, so we got some pretty good, exciting action. I think it's been week in, week out. Very, very exciting, the Premier Soccer League. Right, like I said, if you're just joining us now, I mean, where the heck have you been? A lot of people make sure that they are always watching ZBC TV so that they don't miss out on game plan. Right, okay. Let's look back. Reflections of the first half, and we'll probably touch on what to expect in the second half as well, because we've got the right man to tell us more about that. He is the CEO of the PSL, Rodwell Thabe. Now, Rodwell, let me start. On a sliding scale of 1 to 10, where would you put your secretariat's performance in attaining the objectives of the PSL club's mission? 1 to 10.
I would be tempted to give ourselves as the secretariat a 9.
Wow, it's pretty high, isn't it?
Yes, and I do have my reasons for that, Charles. Things have been looking up this season comparative to last season. I can tell you that we've had a 25% increase in attendances. We have also managed to have so far a 30% increase in revenues, match day revenues across the league. That is comparative to the same period last year. Our social media engagement has been blowing over. Facebook, Twitter, we have recorded 10% increases comparative to last year. When we look at our WhatsApp channel, it's over 100% in terms of, it has 100% grown in terms of what it was at this stage in last year. So there are quite a number of achievements that we have had as the secretariat, which is why I think a 9 out of 10 would be decent. I could explain the other 1 out of 10, but for now my core focus is on what I think the core areas that we've managed to look at. We did promise the clubs to introduce an e-ticketing system, which we were trialing in the past few weeks, and I can successfully let you know that it has been implemented without glitches. So looking forward to the second half of the season, these are some of the initiatives that will be rolling out large scale across the country. And there are other factors too that we have prepared in order to make the second half of the season a more memorable one than the first one.
Okay, so we will touch on that. As you had things to look forward to in the second half of the season, we will be touching on that one. But Rodwell, let me just get back to you and put it again. You gave yourselves your secretariat 9 out of 10. Now I want to go to that one which is missing from making it 10 out of 10. Which one would you say it has been?
I'm always somebody that is looking to improve, Charles, which is why it would have been difficult for me to wrap it up as 10 out of 10. But again, I must be realistic. We have had a few challenges this past first half. And as you are aware that we have had 3 matches that have not been played, 2 of them abandoned, 1 that was not fulfilled. And for me, on my white marker board, that is a blemish. So I take responsibility for that. But then again, I must hasten to point out that the abandonment of these matches were not entirely the fault of the secretariat. You know, they were not crowd trouble related. These were situations that were beyond
I'll tell you what, Rodwell, that one, I've got that question coming up a little bit later about the abandonment. So it's good that your basic, I think your bullying point in quotes was it wasn't the fault of the secretariat. I like that. What do you think? It wasn't. Right. Okay. Let's what I'm going to do, I was going to go straight into another question, but what I'll do now is just give Rodwell some bit of time to breathe, and you as well some bit of time to go up there, get a cup of coffee, cup of tea. I know you make sure that the little ones are warm and cozy, right? Because we're just going away for a teeny weeny bit. When we come back, we'll be continuing to look at our top flight football in Zimbabwe. So we'll be right back. Welcome back. It is Game Plan. It is your show. And yes, remember, 164 days to go before the first match kicks off at AFCON 2025. I'm really excited because our number 1 team will be there. I know you are excited as well here, but we are talking about our top flight scene in Zimbabwe. And we, in the hot seat, we have the acting CEO of the PSL, that's Rodwell Thabe. Right, Rodwell, the last time you were here, that was, I think, just before the start of the season. I did ask you about whether we could expect any other knockout tournament besides the Premier one. the Chibuku Super Cup, and you said that you hinted that there might be something. You were talking to a couple of sponsors. How far have you gone in that one, with that one?
Yes, I do remember that, Charles, and we have been actively speaking to sponsors, but we need to also align a balance with the current calendar that we have. You know, we are facing a lot of congestions, and one of the cup tournaments that we're looking at were with the FA, which was the Zimbabwe Cup. So there are still discussions around that. I note that you say we have released our calendar and there was no mention of the Zimbabwe Cup in it. But we were looking to discuss with the association. Once a few loose ends are tied up, it can always be fitted in. And in terms of the future going forward, we are also in discussion with one major sponsor that is looking to sponsor an 8-team tournament, but that will be for next season now. Because where we are at the moment, with the coming in of the Champions League fixtures, with the coming in of the CHAN fixtures, the World Cup qualifiers, our season for 2025 is already at its maximum.
Right, so yes, expect, remember the last time out, we had the ZIFA president here, Nobile Magwizi NQ, and he did say yes, he did not confirm that the ZIFA Unity Cup, the ZIFA Cup was back, but he did say some loose ends being tied up, and he would let us know. You will be the first to know on the station on ZBC TV when the ZIFA Cup will definitely be on. But let's move on. I want to ask Rodwell about the e-ticketing system that he was talking about, and he was going to touch on that, but then I butted in to say no, because I've got a complete question on that one. What I want to ask, well, just tell us how far you've gone with that one. And it's pretty exciting for fans, you know, to be able to get your ticket online and whatever, and then you just drive home with your family, drive to the stadium with your family. Tell us how far you've gone with that one.
Yes, Charles. You know, many a times from the beginning of the season, the PSL has been more focused on the safety and security of our customers. So right now we are into our third drive, which is the third S, which is service. We want to offer top-notch service to all our clients. And one of those means is by offering them an e-ticketing system, which provides convenience, planning. They can be able to buy their tickets from the comfort of their homes. And we have undertaken test runs for that ticketing system for 3 matches. The first match was the blockbuster match between Moors FC and Scotland FC at Ngoni Stadium. It was sold out 2 days after the release of tickets, which is, I think, in Zimbabwe is a first in many, many years. I don't remember when we last had tickets being sold out for any stadium. So we tested the system there, where we sold pre-generated barcoded tickets. So they were sold out. We verified them, never met any counterfeits or any attempts. The system was rigid. We went on to the second phase, which was again a Caps United match and Moors. So particularly,
I just want to button before you go forward. You said there weren't any counterfeit tickets. Is that system? Can you say to us that system is foolproof? You can, nobody can break into that system now.
100% foolproof. We tested it robustly from an ICT perspective. So we are confident now, Charles, that even if you were to buy a ticket and you use it, send it to your friend who would catch you out. It has the mechanisms to detect that immediately. So counterfeits are a thing of the past. Ticket recycling are a thing of the past. So you do not even have to come with a physical ticket. Even on your phone, we can be able to scan it and be able to verify you in. But it is foolproof 100%. So you computer hacks, you've been warned that will not work. Right, let's just find out then, Rodwell, how many stadiums will be able to host those matches, that system, the e-ticketing system that you just explained? How many? Yes,
right
so
now?
The main question from some of our stakeholders, where we realized that you're undertaking this test at Ngoni Stadium. The reason was when Ngoni Stadium was renovated, they already pre-planned for an eventuality of an e-ticketing system. So it means the system vendor only had to come in and plug and play into the stadium ICT infrastructure. which was a given. So that is why we chose Ngoni. The next step now is we'll be writing to all our clubs to give them the blueprint and the specifications to say, for an e-ticketing system to ride within your stadium, these are the upgrades that are needed. So presently, at all our stadiums, I can confirm that Ngoni Stadium is the only one that seems to be fully compliant. Other stadiums are at a certain percentage, but what's important is for us to provide the blueprint for all stadiums. Any stadium that then conforms to this blueprint or the ICT infrastructure needs can then plug and play. It means we can have the ticketing stadium across all entire venues, depending on the speed at which each stadium upgrades their facilities.
Who is responsible for that? Is it the PSL or the clubs themselves? Who is responsible for that?
The clubs are the tenants to the stadiums. So each club at the beginning of the season provides a lease agreement that specifies the conditions of use between the club and the stadium. So the clubs are responsible to be able to push their landlord to be able to upgrade the infrastructure. So the responsibility or onus largely lies on the stadium authorities. But the clubs, being tenants, are responsible for working hand in hand with them. We as the PSL will play a role. We'll also push from the background, because in the end, we need the system to be rolled out as quickly as possible across the country.
So do I understand, if I follow you, and I'm sure you want to ask the same question out there, is it possible now to have season tickets?
With this system,
you fully implemented?
With this system, it will be a definite yes. You can be able to purchase, because each club will then be created a catalog of its own bouquet within the system. So it can be able to sell, for example, Dynamo seasons tickets, then to be able to use across all Dynamo's home matches. So it will be a possibility.
And this is compulsory. There's no club that will say, this e-ticketing system, atisqui lava. There's no club that can do that, to say we don't want it. We want the old-fashioned way.
Our aim is to have the ticketing system run across all matches. But like I said, Charles, it's all dependent on the infrastructure at the venues. Each venue moves at a different pace. Our job as the PSL is to be able to try and make this compulsory to all clubs. But we must be cognizant of the fact that stadiums have different stages of development. So we can only encourage. And the thing is, for us, as we roll out, each club will be able to see the benefits. They'll be able to see the positives. And that alone should push them to be able to embrace the system. But our aim is to ensure that all the 18 clubs are able to use e-ticketing in one form or another.
Yes, so if you just thought this was happening in the PL Chete for Manchester United versus Liverpool or Chelsea or whatever, it's also going to be happening right here, and you can purchase if you're a Dynamos fan, Caps United fan, Highlanders fan, Scotland fan, Herentals fan. You can purchase once it becomes fully implemented, as you've just heard from the CEO of the PSL. You can just buy your season tickets and go to every match of your favorite team. Yes, watch this space as it rolls out. Yes, if you're just joining us, we are doing your favorite show, the show where we talk about nothing else but the world's most beautiful game. Of course, some of you, following the FIFA World Club thing, isn't it? And Chelsea, Chele of all teams. Pardon me, because at this way, Chele, they've gone in. They are now through to the final, aren't they? Ready to meet the winner between Real Madrid and Paris Saint-Germain. That one will be a cracker. But back home here, we are talking about the PSL, reflecting on the first half and looking ahead at the second half of the season. Right. I'm now moving on to the abandonment of matches. And you've said, it's not the secretariat's fault. We've had a couple of those. And right now, Rodwell, we are waiting for the decisions of two games. 6 weeks ago, we had a game abandoned at Rufaro between Scotland and Chicken Inn. That one. And then just 3 weeks ago, we had a match abandoned at Mandava between Dynamos and between FC Platinum, the hosts, and Dynamos. Now, what I want to know, and I'm sure all of you want to know, why does it take so long? 6 weeks. We still don't know what the verdict is. Scotland and Chicken Inn. 3 weeks, we don't know the verdict. FC Platinum and Dynamos. In England, Spain, or even South Africa, after 2 or 3 days of that incident happening, we will know the result. So what the heck is happening? Where is the holdup with the PSL disciplinary committee tribunal? What's happening there? 6 weeks, we still don't know. 3 weeks, we still don't know.
In any justice system, Charles, there are many ways of then making sure that justice is served timeously and efficiently. And that is one of the core reasons or the core expectations from the PSL. But you must also understand that the PSL Disciplinary Committee is an independent committee, and the clubs themselves have a process that they go through. So I can confirm for you that this process should not take long. But in the case, for example, for the Chicken Inn versus Scotland FC, we've had 3 postponements. So some of those postponements have not been due to the PSL itself. Anything can happen from the accused point of view. If an accused comes and says, I'm not available to appear, maybe I'm not feeling well, we cannot proceed in that instance. If the lawyers of the accused are not available to probably represent them at a certain date, we have to postpone. But the question is, we cannot postpone forever. Football is a finite and time-defined period. The longer we let it go, the more dangerous it becomes.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
So I've spoken to both parties, that is the accused clubs, that is the disciplinary committee, to say we need to wrap this up. And I can confirm for you that in the case of Dynamos and the FC Platinum match, the disciplinary hearing was held yesterday at our offices. And in the case of Scotland and Chicken Inn game, which has been postponed several times due to various reasons, like I said, if a party asks for postponement, Charles, I cannot just proceed. It's in the interest of justice that they receive fair representation. So that hearing is now being held on the 14th of July.
Yes, I hear you, Rodwell, but it sounds, I don't know what you think. We're now going to get the verdict of a game that was abandoned 3 weeks ago, but still waiting for the verdict of a game that was abandoned 3 weeks before the 3 weeks, 6 weeks. But that has been explained, the accused and so on, but it has been confirmed now. The hearing for Scotland and Chicken Inn will be held on the 14th of this month. Definitely, that's next week, isn't it? And we will know the FC Platinum and Dynamo's verdict. We should know it today.
Once the disciplinary hearing sits,
they sit tomorrow, you say?
They set yesterday for the Dynamos match.
Yep.
Yes, so they then ask for closing submissions from both parties, the prosecution and the defense counsel. Once those come through, they need about 2 to 3 days just to study them, issue a verdict, and then we should have it by next week.
But I just want to stay on that before I move on to the next one. But don't you think, yes, you've told us about the accused, for example, the accused parties saying they can't come, the lawyers and so on, but surely it's taking too long. Can fans expect these things to be done maybe at a maximum of maybe 10 days? They know whether their team has been fined or their team has been given 3 points or whatever. Will there be a replay? Surely. Can at least the PSL work on that so that now 6 weeks is just too much?
I agree, Charles. I mean, the suspense is killing everyone.
Oh, yeah.
But like I said, I think some of the things that the fans are not aware of, or stakeholders, is that we have other cases before the disciplinary committee. Remember, when we have cases of interest in terms of abandonment, we normally issue a press release to say this team has been summoned. But we have other cases of misconduct. And I can assure you that the disciplinary committee in the last 2 months has sat down to hear about 4 cases. So there are other cases that are on the register or the roll of the disciplinary committee that we have not communicated to the public. Perhaps a player who has insulted a referee and has been summoned. So these have been happening in the background. So it's not just 2 cases that the disciplinary committee is seized with. It is other cases whose judgments it has already effected and they've been communicated to the clubs. So there is a register of call. I know the public has interest in these cases, but I want to ask them to have patience. We as the PSL, I also want a transitional and quick handout of judgments, but I also have to be patient. I do not want to interfere in the operations of the disciplinary committee.
Right. Okay. Have patience. Have patience. Well, it's like watching an Alfred Hitchcock movie, isn't it? This suspense kills you, and he was a master of suspense. That old man passed on a long time ago, but he was a master of suspense. Keeps you guessing until the very last line, and the movie ends. And people will, even if you still watch it, if you get a hold of an Alfred Hitchcock movie on your internet, watch. If you haven't, watch it, because you will be kept guessing on who done it until the very last line. And that's what's happening with these cases. Right, we move on as we look in the past, the present and the future of the PSL for 2025. And if you're just joining us, we are talking to the acting CEO of the PSL, Rodwell Thabe. Now, Rodwell, I want to talk now about the issue of the stadiums, or the stadia, as some of you prefer to call it. And it's still a biting problem, especially for the capital city, where 4 teams are having to share one stadium. That's Rufaro. What have you done moving ahead on that one?
You know, Charles, this is one topic that wipes the smile off my face many a times. I remember the last time I was here, we discussed it again.
And I saw the smile being wiped from
now
from
we
your
are
face.
faced with the same precarious scenario. And it's not good for our football. I think the current stadium that you refer to that is being shared by these teams is getting worse and worse by the day. We have had an engagement with the mayor who own the facility, but in as much as they can do so much, Charles, 4 teams sharing that venue is never going to be good. And we say 4 teams theoretically, Charles. I must let you know that there are 5 or 6 teams. Some Division 1 teams are actually using that.
Oh, yes.
So no matter how hard you try and maintain it, I think our next round of talks, which I want to initiate with the mayor and also the ZIFA Club Licensing Committee, is that we must cut down on the number of teams that are using that facility. For now, let's have a priority on the top flight league. I know the other divisions may not be happy, but in terms of standardization, the top flight league has very little options as compared to the other divisions. But I think the first thing is to cut down on the number of teams. We cut down on the training usage of that pitch, because I understand some teams actually go and train there. So we are not doing ourselves any favors, Charles. But I hope the refurbishment of the National Stadium picks at a greater pace. I've been reading from the media what has been happening, and I hope by the beginning of next season we have it back, and this will alleviate the pressure. And we also look at venues like Kwanzura, try and bring them up. And if we complement the efforts that have been made by new stadiums, by Moors, and what we have at the Hart Stadium, we should be okay. But at the moment, it's not looking good, Charles.
But the National Sports Stadium, just taking you back on that, I think it was said that it will not be hosting any PSL games for quite a time. It's set for the Warriors and the junior teams of the national teams. So this year it looks very bleak here for anything to happen.
Just trying my luck, Charles. Trying my luck on national TV. The minister might raise his head and say, "Oh, well, maybe let's consider his request." But I think what's paramount, Charles, is that we need to use the liquid that we have very carefully. I don't think we're doing that now. We are overusing the very liquid that we have in terms of stadium infrastructure. So I'll have this talk with the stadium owners, and like I said with ZIFA, we need to find a global solution. But I think where we need to start is to make the best use of the liquid resources that we have.
Right. Yes, I'm hoping that you are really following this and liking it. You've got other suggestions as well. Yes, keep them rolling. But we are looking back at the first half of the season and also looking ahead at the second half of the season. And Rodwell did touch on the Chibuku Super Cup earlier on. That is the Premier Knockout Tournament that we know is confirmed. We just want to find out when it's going to start and what is the structure. You heard him talk about the top 8 being seeded, and we talked about the students, then the Herentals probably hoping to be still in the top 8 when that draw does happen. Let's just find out. Let's just find out what the structure of the Chibuku Super Cup, which has been confirmed, will look like, Rodwell.
Yes, the Chibuku Super Cup draw will be on the 24th of July in Harare, and like I confirmed, the tournament structure has not been altered from last year, which means the top 8 teams will be seeded to play the first round at home. The bottom 4 teams, unfortunately, have to go through a preliminary round. And that includes one of our giants there. So
Dinamo
once the
Dimbare.
preliminary round is done, the preliminary round will be played on the 7th of August, and then we played at neutral venues, both 2 matches. And then the 2 winners will join the other teams to make a complement of 16. Then we get into the first round proper. We expect to have our first round proper on the 9th of August, and then our final should be on the 29th of November to close out our season.
Okay, right. I think we've just learnt, or you've just been enlightened on what happened in the first half and what's going to happen in the second half. So it just leaves me to thank our very special guest, the acting CEO of the PSL, Rodwell Thabe, for just that enlightenment. And well, you know, the PSL secretariat doing great things indeed. And thanks once again to the communications officer there, the lovely Kudzibare, for always keeping us informed of what will be happening. And Rodwell, thank you so much for your time, and we hope that you'll be back with us pretty soon to give us more.
Thank you, Charles. I hope I'm here back and with more positive news. Thank you.
Right. Okay. So, like I said, that's just about it. Do enjoy the rest of your viewing here on ZBC TV. From everybody from the ZBC TV Sports crew behind the scenes, fronted by our producers, Bevan Shenurai, Stuart Shoriwa, Tinashe Manyoni, and Gina Gwanzura, we say, remember to take care of your loved ones and each other. I'm Charles, CNN Mabika. Until we meet again, it's bye-bye for now.